Jamaica, the radiant gem of the Caribbean, is a land where the heartbeat of its people pulses through centuries of struggle, triumph, and cultural brilliance. From its lush rainforests to its sun-kissed beaches, Jamaica's story is one of resilience, forged in the crucible of history and illuminated by the unyielding spirit of its people. This narrative traces the island's journey from its indigenous origins to its modern-day global influence, celebrating the indomitable will of Jamaicans and spotlighting 5 iconic figures who embody their legacy. Long before European sails pierced the Caribbean horizon, Jamaica was home to the Taino, an Arawak-speaking people who called the island Jamaica, meaning land of wood and water. The Taino lived in harmony with the island's fertile landscapes, cultivating crops like cassava, maize, and sweet potatoes. Their society was organized into chiefdoms, with intricate spiritual beliefs tied to nature and ancestral spirits. Archaeological remnants like petroglyphs and pottery testify to their ingenuity and reverence for the land. Unfortunately, through the massive campaigns pushed by the Europeans, most of the record about the Taino-specific figures were destroyed. Yet accounts from Jamaican tradition mention some of their legendary chiefs. In 1494, Christopher Columbus arrived on Jamaica's shores during his second voyage to the Americas, claiming the island for Spain. This marked the beginning of a dramatic shift. The Taino were subjected to brutal enslavement, forced labor, and diseases brought by the Europeans. Within decades, their population dwindled tragically, leaving only whispers of their culture in place names like Liguania and Maima. Yet the Taino spirit of connection to the land endured, subtly influencing the fierce cultural mosaic that would emerge. The Spanish ruled Jamaica for over 150 years, establishing settlements like Sevilla La Nueva and later Spanish Town. They took control of farms, crops, sugarcane, and livestock, laying the foundations for a poor plantation economy. Their reign was marked by exploitation and inefficiency, and by the mid-17th century, Spain's grip weakened under pressure from rival European powers. In 1655, British forces, led by Admiral William Penn and General Robert Venables, seized Jamaica from the Spanish during the Anglo-Spanish War. The island became a British colony, and with this transition came the full force of the disastrous transatlantic slave trade. Enslaved Africans, primarily from West Africa, were forcibly brought to work on sugar plantations. The brutal system enriched British planters but inflicted unimaginable suffering on the African population, who endured backbreaking labor, violence, and dehumanization. Yet the Jamaican spirit of resilience was born in defiance. Enslaved Africans preserved their cultural heritage through oral traditions, music, and spiritual practices, blending them with new realities to create a unique Afro-Jamaican identity. Resistance took many forms, from subtle acts of sabotage to outright rebellion. The most legendary resistance came from the Maroons, communities of escaped enslaved people who established free settlements in Jamaica's rugged interior. Queen Nanny, a towering figure in Jamaican history, emerged as a leader of the Windward Maroons in the early 18th century. Born around 1686, possibly in what is now Ghana, Nanny was an Ashanti woman of profound wisdom and military prowess. She led the Maroons of Nanny Town in the Blue Mountains, organizing guerrilla warfare against British forces. Her strategies, using the terrain to outwit enemies, employing ambushes, and fostering unity among her people, made her a formidable adversary. Nanny was not only a warrior but also a spiritual leader, blending African spiritual ideas with resistance tactics. Her leadership culminated in the First Maroon War from 1728 to 1739, which ended with a peace treaty granting the Maroons autonomy. Queen Nanny's legacy as a symbol of freedom and defiance endures, earning her the title of National Hero of Jamaica. Her story encapsulates the Jamaican people's unyielding will to resist oppression and assert their humanity, and their superior vision and treatment of women. The 19th century was a turning point for Jamaica. The abolitionist movement gained traction in Britain, fueled by uprisings in the Caribbean, including Jamaica's Baptist War from 1831 to 1832, led by Samuel Sharp, another national hero. This rebellion, initially a peaceful strike, escalated into a violent uprising, hastening the passage of the Slavery Abolition Act of 1833. By 1838, slavery was fully abolished in Jamaica, but freedom came with caveats. Former enslaved people faced economic hardship, as the plantation system persisted under exploitative labor. The Morant Bay Rebellion of 1865, led by Paul Bogle, exposed the simmering discontent. Bogle, a Baptist deacon, rallied impoverished Jamaicans against unjust taxes and lack of land access. The rebellion was brutally suppressed, but it was a small victory since it sparked reforms, including the end of the planter-dominated assembly and the establishment of Crown Colony rule. Despite these challenges, Jamaicans forged vibrant communities, blending African traditions with Christian influences to create cultural expressions like revivalism and kumina. As the 20th century dawned, Jamaica's people sought to define their identity amidst economic struggles and colonial rule. The early 1900s saw the rise of labor movements and calls for self-determination. Into this era stepped Marcus Garvey, a visionary whose ideas would reverberate globally. Born in 1887 in St. Ann's Bay, Garvey founded the UNIA in 1914, advocating for black pride, economic self-reliance, and repatriation to Africa. His Back to Africa movement inspired millions, emphasizing unity and empowerment for people of African descent. Garvey's newspaper spread his message of Pan-Africanism, challenging colonial ideologies. In Jamaica, he faced resistance from the colonial elite, but his ideas took root among the working class. His establishment of the Black Star Line, a shipping company meant to facilitate trade and migration, symbolized black agency. Though Garvey faced legal troubles and was deported from the United States, his legacy as a national hero endures. He ignited a global consciousness that empowered Jamaicans to envision a future free from colonial shackles. His visionary ideas are a testament to Jamaican ingenuity. The mid-20th century was a period of cultural and political awakening. Jamaica's push for independence gained momentum, fueled by labor strikes in the 1930s and the formation of political parties like the People Eri-S National Party and the Jamaica Labour Party. Amidst this, Louise Bennett Coverley, affectionately known as Miss Lou, became a cultural icon. Born in 1919 in Kingston, Miss Lou was a poet, folklorist, and performer who elevated Jamaican patois to an art form. Her poems, like Colonization in Reverse, celebrated Jamaican identity, challenging colonial disdain for local dialects. Miss Lou's performances on radio, stage, and television brought Jamaican folklore, Anansi stories, proverbs, and riddles to the forefront. She championed the validity of patois as a language of literature and pride, paving the way for future artists. Her work fostered a sense of national identity as Jamaica approached independence in 1962. Honored as a cultural ambassador, Miss Lou's legacy underscores the resilience of Jamaicans in reclaiming their voice and cultural heritage. On August 6, 1962, Jamaica became an independent nation, raising its black, green, and gold flag. The post-independence era was marked by optimism. Jamaica's cultural output soared, with music becoming its global ambassador. Reggae, born from ska and rocksteady, became a powerful medium for expressing the struggles and aspirations of Jamaicans. Bob Marley, born in 1945 in 9 Mile, emerged as reggae's greatest icon. A Rastafarian whose music blended spiritual depth with social commentary, Marley's songs like Get Up, Stand Up, and Redemption Song became anthems of resistance and unity. His album Exodus, named by Time magazine as the best album of the 20th century, brought Jamaica's message to the world. Marley's performances, from Kingston's National Stadium to international stages, showcased the resilience of Jamaicans, turning their struggles into universal calls for justice and love. As a national hero, Bob Marley music remains a testament to the power of art to transcend borders and inspire change. In the late 20th and early 21st centuries, Jamaican people continued to excel, particularly in sports and culture. Usain Bolt, born in 1986 in Sherwood Content, became a global symbol of Jamaican excellence. The fastest man in history, Bolt dominated sprinting, winning 8 Olympic gold medals and setting world records in the 100-meter, 200-meter, and 400-meter relay. His charisma and lightning bolt pose captivated the world, showcasing Jamaica's confidence and joy. Bolt's success, alongside athletes like Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price and Veronica Campbell-Brown, reflects Jamaica's tradition of turning adversity into achievement. The island's track and field prowess, rooted in community training and sheer determination, exemplifies the resilience that defines Jamaicans. Jamaica's history is a saga of overcoming. From the Taínos' reverence for the land to the Maroons' fight for freedom, from Garvey's vision of empowerment to Miss Lou's celebration of language, from Marley's universal message to Bolt's global triumphs, Jamaicans have consistently defied odds. Their resilience is woven into the fabric of their culture, evident in the rhythms of reggae, their intellectual and physical prowess, the vibrancy of dancehall, and the warmth of their hospitality. Today, Jamaica remains a cultural powerhouse, influencing music, fashion, and language worldwide. Its people, descendants of warriors, continue to shape a future that honors their past while embracing new possibilities. The story of Jamaica is not just one of a nation, but of a people whose spirit cannot be contained, a testament to the power of resilience, creativity, and unity.